So this Vegeta will be getting a Zenkai, and yeah, it's not confirmed fully, but it's definitely going to happen. Anyway, this Vegeta is going to be getting a Zenkai, and we're going to talk about what he needs. I hope you guys enjoy. First and foremost, if you are not subscribed, subscribe. About 30% of the viewership has people viewing the channel that are not subscribed, so be sure to subscribe if you are new. Also, post down below. I want to ask you guys for today's question of the day. This is also a social experiment. I want to also see how much comments impact the video's performance. Anyway, post down below for today's question. What is one change you would give this Vegeta on his Zenkai? One thing you think he needs. So we're going to go ahead and do a full breakdown of his kit, and then we'll also pop in and intervene and talk about things that I would like to see personally. To answer my own question, I would like to see Vegeta get more cut. I know, craziest thing ever, right? He needs a lot though. So let's go ahead and work through Vegeta's kit. You know, I read his kit earlier and I was kind of surprised because he doesn't really need as many things as I thought he would need. I mean, like, he's got stuff in his kit. He's got tools, utility. He's not one of those old school, like, crazy old characters from like 2019 that needs a complete overhaul, right? He has things in his kit that they just need to fine tune. First things first. Oh my God, these stats, boy. These stats, boy. Where's the max number? Good Lord. 270 strike attack, 250 on the blast. Hold on, I just gotta see. Let's just pull them up just for they're a tag, so their stats I think are a tad bit lower anyway. Where's the number? 260 and 280. Okay, let me pull up. Well, Beast isn't fair because he's a transforming character. Let's pull up. We'll pull up this Trunks. He's already maxed out. Where's the stat difference? 290, 280. Okay, that's even more like it. What about this green Trunk? Well, no, you're not even all that new. You're crap. You're old. Anyway, let's just pull up another melee character, Janemba Ultra. I'm not gonna do that. Let's do you. How about this? Another LF. You're a range type. Okay, whatever. Okay, well, your stats are kind of bad too. I guess it looked worse than it actually is. How about that? The support type. Okay. Yeah, I guess it looked a little worse than it actually is. So as far as like flat stats go, he definitely does need better stats, but that's gonna happen anyway. So I take back Vegeta. I wasn't familiar with your game. I feel like anywhere below 270 though is like average, right? I think he needs a little bit above that. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kit. So the strikes do decrease his blue card damage. That's fine. Blasts don't do anything. I would like to see Blasts also just do that because why not, right? Standard blast card, not bad, but you can maybe spruce that up a little bit. I'm not sure if they really impact the change on those types of cards with Zenkais though. Taking a look at the blue card, massive impact, plus 15, change that to 25. For 3 counts on activation, applies attribute upgrade, shorten sub count by 5 to self on hit, can't be stacked. That's solid because Vegeta has this playstyle at least a few times where he wants to switch out of the battlefield and get his own stacking bonus. So if you can shorten his sub count to where he can come back a little bit sooner, that's kind of why this is here, and that's kind of the idea slash design choice. It's other than that though, it's pretty straightforward, very basic. What else could they really? I don't really think they'll do anything else to this. Because he still has an ultimate. I don't really know that they'll do anything else to this. I think 25 is like the standard number for this. Anything lower than 20 I think is unfair. Honestly, I think it needs to be 25 minimum. Also, Vegeta's green was actually, I was looking at this and I was like, I know he's got the AoE green as a shout out to the green Vegeta that came out and introduced this mechanic, I believe, way back in like 2019. But I was surprised to see that he also had the nullify here. It's something I had totally forgotten. So he doesn't need that like most characters like that don't have that effect on their AoE green need. So when he uses this, he restores his ki and gets 50% ki recovery for 10 counts. That's solid. I'm not really mad at that. It would be nice if he had the draw speed bonus here. That could be kind of good, actually. Give him a couple, like, you know, draw speed right there. But he does have a few mechanics like draw cards. Even right here, he draws a card. Draws a card one time. Make it twice. Make it twice. Give him that blue card twice. Draws a card one time. A blue card specifically. Gets extra damage, 20% for 20 counts. Can that be 25 for 20 counts? I don't think that's breaking anything. Also applies buff effect to nullify cover changes for 5 counts. I don't know that they'll make any other changes to this. Like I said, I don't know that this changes other than I talked about draw speed. I don't think that gets added. I think the only thing they're really going to do this is change the damage to 25 and maybe allow him to draw a blue card twice. Considering the blue card, I think is kind of, it's not like integral to his kit, but it is nice as a perk to allow him to switch in faster. Considering he doesn't have a special cover change, like he is also, so like pretty much every LF that comes out today is gonna have a special cover change. He's also a character that doesn't, because he came out just a little bit before they really started heavily pushing those, right? So all in all, not really too mad at that. Now this is where things get kind of fun. His ultimate should, in theory, hit like a freaking truck when you read it and the main ability. So applies attribute upgrade minus 100% to enemy sustained damage cut effects. Also nullifies endurance. But also, for the record, it's not just the 3 standard counts. It's for 10 counts. So if you, by chance, don't kill them with this, maybe you can use a strike or something and get the endurance nullification. Or you can do the super cheeky thing where you intentionally miss this and transition that into the rush because they're going to use a strike after they vanish you. And then you could just, if the rush goes through, kill them guaranteed. That's a super cheeky thing you can do with characters that, like any character that has it for like at least 3 counts, right? So yeah, there's that. But 100%, he's gonna hit pretty hard. They're not changing this effect at all, but again, 10 counts is pretty solid. Actually, that's like one of the longer variations of that style of effect. So the main ability randomly destroys one of your cards and draws the ultimate card next. Can I just say that every time a character has this effect, they always destroy the one card I don't want them to destroy? Leave a like if you agree. Let me know if that happens to you as well. Speaking of likes, the like goal for today's video is just 500. If you see it below that, you know what to do. Help us hit our goal. I appreciate you big time. So draws the ultimate here. So also gets a 15% health restoration and 40 key gain. Also 60% ultimate damage up, and then another 20% versus Sun Family specifically for 20 counts. So you don't have to directly use it because it's for 20 counts, obviously, but it is exclusive to the ultimate. So anyways, he's getting at least 60. I would like to see this be 75-25. I think that's fair, but I don't really know that happens because he already has the minus 100. The minus 100 is actually kind of insane. So I don't know if they do that, but 75-25 just makes the most sense. And I think that a modern character that if he came out today, I think you would have that. So there's that. So we take a look at the Z ability. He has a double attack Z ability, pretty versatile, like that a lot. You go ahead and scroll down, plus 40% damage inflicted against any blue character. That's just shy of neutral damage. I think neutral is 50%, right? Just shy of neutral damage. So he's actually sneaky good against those characters he would have a disadvantage against. And God forbid it's a blue Goku, because he's going to do another 25%. Also, he does minus 15% to damage received against Sun Family characters. That is actually more versatile than you think. The first part of that, where he does bonus damage, is only to Goku. Low-key, if they change that to Sun Family, that's a huge buff. Huge buff. Because there's a difference. One is just Goku, and the other one's Goku and his whole family, aside from Bardock, because he's not on Sun Family, because he's not Sun Bardock. He's not, you know. If it was Goku's family like Dokkan, that would be different, but it's Sun Family. Maybe they rename it and name it Goku's family. And add Goku and add Bardock in. Where's Grandpa Gohan at, by the way? Because he would be on Sun Family. All right, moving on. So anyways, there's a huge difference. It's like Goku and his family versus just Goku. So if they want to do the damage increase to Sun Family, that's actually a huge bonus. Huge bonus. Because then all of a sudden it like impacts like the Beast Gohans, for example, stuff like that. So also applies the bowling effects itself in the battle. By the way, I'm not really going to talk about a change there because I don't expect the change to either of those. I mean, they could do 20% on the cut. I don't think that's hurting anything, but it would also be kind of nice. Anyway, applies the bowling effects itself when the battle starts, plus 80% damage and 35%. Oh my God. This is when he came out. Now characters come out with 160. 100 damage, 60 cut. Boom. Cut it. Just there it is. Or 90 and 60, and then they got a bunch of other stuff, right? So anyway, those obviously need to go up. I'm not sure that they change those because a couple of things happen with these characters. When it's a Zen, so he's an LF Zenkai, so I would expect for them to maybe cook a little more than usual with him. Anyway, the last few, I will say, the last number of like 1% characters that have got like Janemba, Gogeta, those characters have been good. I think Topo that just came out is really good too. So anyway, I would like to see this go to 90-50 at least. 90-50 I think is fair, but I don't know that they'll change it because, like I said, a couple things happen. There's updated stats. The character themselves gets access to a Zenkai ability. He doesn't have it now, but he's going to get up to 40% in these stats as well. So 35-40 extra increase in stats that will apply to him himself. And so I don't really know that they do that. And on top of that, they add in 2 extra effects where they're going to add in most likely another 10 or 15% cut. Who knows anywhere else, right? So kind of like a weird thing that they don't really change those a ton. But again, he's an LF, so maybe they will be a little bit more impactful with him. So here's where he gets the effect I was talking about that kind of synergizes with that blue card effect. So plus 20% damage inflicted when this character is switched to standby, not when he enters. So when he is switched to standby. So the fact he doesn't have a special cover change means there's not a lot of value in keeping him as the character to switch into the battle because he doesn't really do much in that situation. So spoiler, I will talk about him having more disruption / tools. He has to provide something defensively where he doesn't really do that right now. We'll talk about that in a minute. I think he has a little bit in the next passive, but not much. Older character didn't really need it. But anyway, so when he switches out, when he switches out of the battle, he gets 20%. And then also that stacks up to 60. Make it 25 and 100. I would love that very much. 4 switches, 100% maximum. I'll take it. What I really think is going to happen is it stays at 20 and just goes to 80 cap. Maybe it's maybe they go 25-80. I don't know, but 25-100 sounds better, works better, it's cleaner. So there's that. But they could also, they could also do something weird where it's like up to 90 and then so in 30 up to 90. So he only needs to do it 3 times. They could do something like that too. So reduces enemy's ki by 20 every time own attack is evaded. So he has an offensive effect where if they vanish him, they reduce their ki. It would be very impactful if he also dropped a card from their hand or gave draw speed debuff. So a lot of new characters that have this exact same effect are doing 1 or 2 of those things or both. So he's dropping off ki, that's fine. Or he can also do a ki restoration debuff. That could be good too. But I would just probably prefer for him to just drop a card. Just make them drop a card. Also, restores health by 5% after enemy's attack is over, activates 4 times. I don't know that this changes from 5%, but maybe make it 6 or 7 times, right? Because it's only going to happen once per combo, basically. And so if you're expecting him to get hit or restore health when he's hit, at least maybe improve that amount of times he can do it, right? But I would like to see it change to 10% for the record. If they keep it at 4, make it 10% minimum. I think that's fair too. So right here, reduces damage received by 30% for 3 counts when enemy uses a special move, awakened arts, or ultimate arts while this character is on the battlefield or on standby. This is almost, looking at this in hindsight, this is almost a super duper beta version of the now in the game effect where characters now just reduce arts power. It's like it's targeting the exact same stuff that those effects are targeting. It's just not directly that because we didn't get that until like a couple of years later, right? So it's like a super duper beta version. I wonder if they would give this Vegeta something like that on one of his effects. I wouldn't say that would be a bad thing. Allow it to target these exact same effects. Just give him like, when the enemy uses an ultimate or something while he's on the battlefield, you give him this. Yeah, that's fine. But also give him like 15% cut, or not cut, but arts power debuff as well. I think that could be good too in terms of what you could give him. And some of his allies can do some wonky stuff like that too, but not a lot of them. Not a lot. So it is what it is. In fact, I don't really know who. Maybe the new tag. Like I don't really know who you'd be running this guy with right now off the top of my head that can even do that stuff. As a melee character where most of his teammates are ranged, things like that. I don't really know. It's kind of weird. Maybe they drop some Saiyan Saga stuff soon, and maybe that changes where his team, kind of winds up being a little bit different with the and maybe it's not Vegeta Clan. Maybe it actually winds up being Saiyan Saga again. So I don't know. All right, so yeah, that's an effect that he has there. 30% for 3 counts when they use it. So obviously going to be guaranteed to impact how much damage he takes. He's got like these restricted debuff or restricted damage cuts though with that, and then the Sun Family one. So other than that though, he only had the flat 35. So kind of restricted stuff. I don't mind the restriction, but I think they can be improved, right? So applies developing effects upon landing a strike or blast arts hit. Restores ki by 5. Draws a strike card next. Activates once. And also, that resets when he switches, of course. And he gets plus 15% to special move damage inflicted for 20 counts. Okay. So also, restores health by 20% only once when he activates the endurance. Quick thing with that. Don't endurance characters typically get 30%? Let's pull up Gotenks. Don't they typically get 30% now? That's like one of those like on the margin, like shadow power creep things you don't really think about too much. Restores health by 20%. No, that's not it. I think it's 30% now. Yeah, right here, 30%. Restores health by 30%. So it's one of those like shadow things that you don't, like I said, don't ever really think about. Doesn't really come into play or focus, right? But that is something that they can obviously change. In fact, they probably will, right? Because it's just an updated version of that. So allow for him to restore 10% more health on the endurance. While this character is on the battlefield, when causing a character to revive, the character revives with 30% less health. Oh, he came out in that era. Okay. Okay. So a little bit of, what do they call it? Revive disruption. Okay. So, yeah, there's a trait here for revive disruption. There's like none of these. Yeah, see, like, this is why I said he came out in that era, because they don't drop these often. They don't drop these at all. Like, there's 8 of them in the game total. And what's the most recent ones? Legends Fest 2021? Did Evolution or Cell come out after that? Like, they don't drop these. Maybe the 21 came out after that. They don't drop these ever. So he came out in that era. Okay. So the endurance thing, he needs that. I talked about him having some sort of disruption, things like, could you imagine they gave him a special cover change on Zenkai? That could be kind of legit, but they're not going to put in that work. Could you imagine though? So yeah, give him disruption with the next couple of passives or somewhere else in here. He needs that, whether that's card drop-offs, other debuffs for card draw speed, key recovery debuffs, more key reduction elsewhere when certain parameters are met, like maybe after they drop him to a certain threshold of HP, because they seem to be fond of giving those types of effects to Vegeta clan members. And it also would make him to where, you know, Janemba still runs through him because Janemba doesn't care about that, if I recall correctly. Things like that, whatever. I also would like to see him get the extra 10% on the revive, or the endurance. That's pretty straightforward, pretty obvious right there. And in terms of offensive utility, here's a big thing with this guy. He doesn't have special cover change outside of on the green card, and that makes him all but completely dependent on the green card to even get a reliable combo going. So he needs to have the ability to enter and draw a green card at least a couple of times. He needs the ability to do that. AoE greens are super toxic, which shout out to Beast Gohan, because he would actually, like, he wouldn't care at all about that, because he's just going to nullify it, right? The new one. Anyway. So, yeah, the AoE green cards are really toxic, especially when they have nullifies and gimmicks like that mean that you can't counteract it. But this Vegeta almost needs it because he's, again, very dependent on that. Unless they're going to give him special cover change elsewhere, like maybe when an ally is defeated and he enters the battlefield, they give him a special cover change for 10 counts or something like that. Unless they're going to do something like that, he almost depends on it, because he also has that effect in his kit where when he uses a card, he draws a free strike. Well, what's the point of that if he doesn't have a green card, right? And also, the green card is for 10 counts, right? Yeah, for 5 counts. That needs to be 10 counts. I didn't talk about that. So in hindsight, the green card needs to be for another, unless they give him a second way to cover change nullification, or make it where he can draw this green more than once. I have a feeling they'll give him it one time for free, right? Things like that. This needs to be 10, or at least one of those. Something has to give with this guy, because as it stands, he can't reliably combo, and it's pretty obvious that that's going to wind up being a hindrance to him. Also, he has the forced draw of a card there. On the green card, it forced draws a blue card, I believe. I talked about maybe giving that to him twice. You know, that's kind of where things get kind of wonky, because I don't know that they'll want to give him the green card into the blue card twice or multiple times. Maybe the blue card stays at 1, but they gave him the green card on entry. Like, that's where things get kind of wonky, because it's going to be like a guaranteed, like, loop there. And the blue card will hit kind of hard in that scenario, right? So it's going to be a guaranteed loop there. I'm not really sure that they would be willing to do that. But if they do, I think the Vegeta could be in a really interesting situation. But again, catering to his playstyle where he needs to switch out, maybe even give him some support. Just very simple, very, very simple, very easy stuff to add more value to him switching out, where when he switches out, you can give, or also you can give him the disrupt on switch out too. You know, it doesn't have to be when he enters or when an enemy hits him. He can switch out and then do the debuffs too. Characters do that as well. You can just also give him, when he switches out, give allies 20% and like 10 key or 20 key, you know, but give him 20% to allies for 15 counts, like something simple like that, so there's more value in him switching out. Also, an underrated switch out effect, I think that could be kind of crazy on this guy, that I don't know that we've seen since. I actually don't know if there's this, correct me if I'm mistaken, because I genuinely don't know if a second character does this. I feel like there's probably one other character, but shout out to you if you caught on to what I'm talking about. But an underrated switch out effect that we don't see at all ever is this Broly's effect where when he switches out, he freaking applies damage cut to allies, dude. Like, that is so broken to me. So right here, applies minus 20% to damage received to allied movie characters for 10 counts and also increases their damage, right? But dude, if he were to give damage cut to allies, that's again a pipe dream, but one can imagine.